Hey people, it is Saturday, March the 15th. The time is 4:45 in the afternoon. It's currently 14 degrees, and believe it or not, it feels like 15 according to the Humidex. I think this is the first time a Humidex has been brought into action so far in 2025, making it feel 1 degree warmer. And we're not in spring yet, but it certainly feels like it. Both yesterday and today, we've had very pleasant spring-like temperatures. Today was rainy for much of the morning, but it seems to have stopped and almost cleared up. And I just thought I'd come out and take a bit of a random walk around downtown. This nice weather is certainly bringing out a bit of a good mood on my part. We're taking walks for pleasure, and not just for recording purposes. It becomes a more regular thing, but what started out as a walk for pleasure, I guess ended up as a video, but that's okay. So I'm currently walking on Carlton Street, and I'm heading west. And I think I'll just walk us around downtown on this busy Saturday. I think there's lots of things going on this weekend. Yesterday I took a walk past Comic-Con down at the convention center. That's still going on. And I think there's also a hockey game today. And tomorrow is the St. Patrick's Day parade. So I think there's lots of people in town for this weekend. And no doubt lots of other things are going on. So I'm not sure where we'll end up. Maybe I'll take us over to Yonge Street. We'll just do a classic downtown Yonge walk for a bit. It's bound to be quite busy right now. Just that church here. Gonna keep on heading west. There's the old Maple Leaf Gardens. I definitely feel a bit of a spring in my step, I think. I don't usually suffer from the winter blues too much. I know some people get really bummed out in the winter. But I certainly do feel a bit more upbeat once spring starts presenting itself. So I think I'll go north on Yonge Street. Since yesterday I did record a video down around the convention center and Union Station. Anything good playing at the Carlton Cinema? They have these $5 movies. I can see The Conversation, Leprechaun, The Last Showgirl, and Gangs of New York are all playing for $5. And they also have First One movies playing for the regular movie prices, although a bit cheaper there than you'll find at a Cineplex. That theater is known for its slightly discounted admission fees. Let's see, Flo, Baby Girl, Wicked are all playing as First Run movies. And another $5 movie whose name I couldn't quite make out there.
That was on a typical, a lot of people had jobs lined up, and a lot of people.
There's College subway station. At Yonge Street. College Street just begins on the other side of Yonge. And quite busy as I was, pretty much as I was expecting it to be. Grand College Park building. I hear some possible exciting new developments might be transforming that old building. I mean, obviously retaining the old historic building, but maybe adding some new additions. All right, so north up Yonge Street. They still haven't activated these new traffic lights. These have been installed here for months now. It's strange that they haven't turned them on yet. I remember thinking they were a bit too close to the traffic lights just down at College Street. You can see how close together these two sets of traffic lights will be to one another. Literally like half a block apart from each other.
Just to like enter a street, like I would.
And the sun is actually breaking through the clouds now. Let's hope tomorrow we get some similar weather for the St. Patrick's Day parade. I know rain was in the forecast for Sunday, but that can always change. Did an interesting new way to erect a false facade for that building, just a glass one with the old building basically painted on. At least they retain that old clock tower. That was an old fire station, but then it was also a well-known bar for many years. I think it was considered Toronto's first gay bar. St. Charles Tavern, I think it was called. And now it's the base of a condo. Can't stop progress, I guess. Looks like there's still lineups at this new Haiti location that opened about a month ago or so. I think the last time I did a video walking north on Yonge Street was right after it opened, when I was doing a collab with Johnny Strides. It was much colder and winter-like. A vape store. Is that the best they could do? I'm always a bit disappointed when new retail spaces fill up with things like weed stores or vape stores, or banks is another thing that irritates me. Restaurants I'm okay with. I'm not really particular about what sort of restaurant. I think any sort of restaurant is better than any of those other things. And more new traffic lights here. Wow, they're really going to be altering the traffic flow patterns here on Yonge Street. Maybe for the better. I'm not sure what I'm waiting for here. I'm pretty sure those are new traffic signals, unless they're old ones that are just having some work done. I'll have to look at a previous video to see if there were traffic lights here before. I don't think there were, though. So I know there are several intersections along Yonge Street where you kind of just had to cross without the aid of any signalization, which isn't usually too much of a problem because Yonge Street actually isn't that busy as far as automobile traffic goes. It has far more pedestrian traffic than car traffic. There are parallel streets to Yonge that are much more geared towards those who travel through downtown by car. So the people in cars usually take those other streets. Hello. Thank you, thank you. Cheers. Just ran into a friendly viewer of the channel. And we're at Yonge and Wellesley. Sure why that guy just stopped randomly in the middle of the intersection.
你根本不知道他这个信是写给粉丝的，是写给女朋友的。
So next weekend it will actually be spring. I wonder what the weather will be like then. Kind of funny if it's suddenly cold again. Could happen. These very old storefronts here on Yonge Street. Lots of them date back to the 19th century. Quite a few of them are run down, but lots of them have been refurbished and incorporated into new developments, such as you see right across the street. Those are all spruced up when they built that new condo tower. Not so new, it goes back about 10 years now. Looks like the Aroma Espresso Bar has closed down, and a new place, the Peachery, will be opening up to replace that. They don't have the best press, the Aroma Espresso Bar. I've read some rather unflattering accounts of experiences by employees or former employees there, but I can't say for sure if that applies to all locations or not.
Usually you can guess.
It might be perfectly fine. No comment. Yeah, the sun has completely revealed itself now. This light was still red, but everyone was just crossing anyway. I wonder if the Popeyes Supplements has reopened. Closed a while ago, something like a year and a half ago or more, due to a fire, I believe. And I thought it was supposed to reopen, but it still hadn't last time I went by to check it out. It's right up ahead. Can't really keep up with the openings and closings of stores and restaurants on Yonge Street. So here's the Popeyes, but this is the chicken place, not the supplement store. Looking past the CAA Theater. This is one of a number of theaters on Yonge Street. This is the only one up in this north end, though, of downtown Yonge. The others are down south of Dundas. And there are plans to redevelop that building. Kind of a shame to lose a downtown theater like that. And here's the other Popeyes, which still is not opened. I wonder if this will ever reopen. Doesn't seem to be in any hurry to reopen. Got a new shawarma place opening here. And there are a couple more opening further south down Yonge, also south of Dundas. Shawarma seems to be making a comeback. I noticed Toronto goes through phases in terms of what sorts of popular food everyone is into or talking about. At one time it can be shawarma for like a few years, and then it'll switch to burritos, and then it'll switch to something else. I remember sushi burritos were popular for a while. You don't hear anyone talking about those anymore. The brass rail. I think you can figure out what sort of place this is. I think that building is also slated for redevelopment. Imagine losing both the theater and the brass rail. This part of Yonge Street will never be the same. We've got Hayden Street. This is Toronto's first Chick-fil-A location that opened over 5 years ago. Now there are several more downtown. Very busy as we get closer to Bloor Street. I'm just trying to walk over here out of the line of oncoming pedestrians. Yonge and Bloor with skyscrapers rising, the one there. I think it only has about another 5 or 6 floors to go, and then it'll be topped out. I think by this summer that should be temporarily the tallest building in Canada until Sky Tower overtakes it. Sky Tower is another condo under construction at the very southern end of Yonge Street. And there you can see the bunker-like building that used to be a Bay store. You can sort of make out the shape of the old sign where it said the Bay and the Hudson's Bay Company over there. And sad news today about the Hudson's Bay Company. Looks like they're unsuccessful in restructuring, and it looks like liquidation may begin and start what will be the end of the company after hundreds of years. I recently did a video walking through the flagship Hudson's Bay store down at Yonge and Queen. When news first came out about the trouble that the company was in, I did a full tour of that store, all 7 floors of it. So I'm kind of glad I did that, because I don't know if I would go back in again if it does shut down eventually. All right, so we're at Yonge and Bloor. And I wonder if the Apple store will eventually locate at the base of the one here. That was the original plan. But apparently, due to the building taking much longer to complete than was originally planned, the Apple store pulled out, but I find it hard to believe that that is completely a dead deal now. This space at the base of the one here was built specifically to house an Apple store. It was purpose built just for Apple. So I'm kind of optimistic that eventually the Apple store will come and locate here, this prime location at the base of this luxury super tall.
Hey, Ken.
Hello. Yeah, another friendly viewer. All right, let's take a walk through the Mink Mile. In some other recent videos, I was talking about the top 3 most popular streets in downtown Toronto. And of course, Yonge Street, which we were just on, is number 1 in my mind. And Queen Street West, which I just did a video of yesterday, is definitely top 3, along with here on Bloor Street, specifically this stretch here through the Mink Mile and into the Annex. I'd say those are undoubtedly the top 3 busiest and most popular downtown streets in the city. There are many others, of course, that are very busy and popular, but it's hard to argue with this top 3, I think. The sun is really making itself known now. I might have to unzip my hoodie here. I'm starting to feel a bit warm.
And then Sunday night.
This 1 degree humidex is taking its toll.
But I don't know. I have to talk to my folks.
This extra degree of humidex. Maybe I'll cross to the shadier side. We're at Bay and Bloor. Bay Street, you could head all the way down to the financial district and right to Lake Ontario if you continue south down there. Sometimes I think if I just stand in one spot and pan around, I should be easy to move around, but pedestrians still feel like they need to walk into me for some reason. It's like, I'm not even moving. I'm just standing in one spot. It's your job to go around me. It's much better here on the shady side. I think this whole block here is slated to be redeveloped. You can see all the stores have closed down. It's just a stretch of two-story buildings. And it's slated to be redeveloped with a very tall tower, one of the tallest in the Bloor-Yorkville area. So I think these buildings will be demolished. Not that they're very architecturally significant or anything, they're just basically pretty plain looking storefronts without any architectural adornment or anything like that. Maybe originally they were more interesting when they were built. This older one here with Natural Blossom was an old home, obviously, that is still here, which is a bit rare now in this stretch of Bloor Street. I'm not sure if that's included in the redevelopment. It might be, though. Although I don't see the redevelopment notice posted on the buildings here. But that'll alter the skyline pretty significantly, along with all the other buildings popping up in this part of downtown. You can see the building goes pretty far back, but it's a pretty plain, uninteresting building. So I'm not really too concerned about the loss of that building and its neighbors there. And the renderings for the new tower show it to be a very impressive looking skyscraper. So I'm in favor. I'm not automatically in favor of every redevelopment, even if it is for a skyscraper. I love skyscrapers, but I have my limits, I guess. I strongly think that any old historic building should be retained as much as possible, and preferably more than just the facades, but if it's just the facades that are retained, I'm generally okay with that too. And Toronto has done that many times. I did a video about that called Facadism. I think Toronto might be the most facadimized city in the world.
Right.
This is all the upscale shops here on the Mink Mile. Although they're not all upscale. We have the Winners.
I don't know if they got paid, but yes, they did.
Maybe Winners' excuse for being on the Mink Mile is they do sell some designer brands at discounted prices, though. So everything else is very luxurious. There's space for lease there and a pretty ugly looking building. Nothing to write home about there. I don't think there are any development plans for that location, though. The Tiffany is relocating down to the corner of Bay and Bloor in a much more prominent location. Something else will have to come along to replace that.
I spent 120.
This neighborhood changes not quite as quickly as Yonge Street in terms of its retail offerings, but there is quite a bit of changeover from year to year as stores move around or expand or close to be replaced by something else. And this is vacant again. There was a pop-up store here for a while. It's a beautiful old building. This is owned by U of T. But there's a retail space there. And there's the historic Park Hyatt. And the Royal Ontario Museum. That church predates almost everything around it, Church of the Redeemer. All right, so just crossing Queen's Park here.
Oh, where
The ROM is getting a major reno here on its Bloor Street entrance. Very busy all around here. I think the ROM is doing some good business today. But I think I'm going to wrap up the video here at Bloor and Queen's Park as we look north up Avenue Road. This beautiful, now sunny Saturday. Took a while for the sun to fully come out, but it's in full force now. So I hope you enjoyed the walk. Made our way along Carlton Street, over to Yonge, and then north up Yonge, to Bloor, and then west here along Bloor, to the Royal Ontario Museum, getting its exciting transformation. I'm not sure when that's slated to be completed. Definitely looks like a major improvement from what it used to look like, the main entryway. So leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store, or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you like. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue to have my hair blow in my face.